My name's John Gagge. I've been with EnerSys since 1995, so I've got 30 years with the organization. And with the recent management changes, they asked me if I would be interested in doing some business development work, really focused around UPS and lithium ion work. So that's what I'm doing now. And then in my free time, we've got 5 kids between the two of us. And I'm a private pilot. It's a little fun fact. I got bored for a little bit and I figured I'd have something to do. So that was during my sales days. During the operations days, there was no time left for flying airplanes. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. So, data center is just crazy. I don't think you can touch any publication in the world that doesn't have some reference to data centers and what's happening. And the current big buzzword is AI and AI data centers, and just the volume of utilities that it takes, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water and megawatts, if not gigawatts of power to run these things. But the world's a different place. And with internet connected devices and Internet of Tomorrow, I said earlier, artificial intelligence, it's just crazy how much strain this is putting on the grid and with the operators. So in the past, we would put in, small data centers and it was 1 megawatt. And now we're seeing ones that are, 4, 5, 8 megawatts. And installed power that sometimes is gigawatts, mini nuclear power plants that they're using to power some of these data centers. So one other thing that's just crazy on data centers is the investment that's coming to it. We see almost $7 trillion going into data centers over the next 5 years. And our estimates say that 50% of that could be battery backup. And when we look at these, it's not just battery backup, it's the whole system that's there. It's a holistic approach to how we solve these problems for our customers. And in many cases, this is a problem that the customers don't want to deal with. They want us to be there as a valued partner with the status we have in the industry and the long history to say, hey, let us solve the problem for you. Yes, I think there's a lot of players in this market and everyone has a product, but it's really looking at the solutions part of it. And back in the early days of EnerSys, it was energy systems. Even today, the line of business called energy systems, it's the systematic approach to it that really needs to be looked at. And throughout my tenure at EnerSys, we've always offered a good, better, best approach to things. And really it's sitting with customers and understanding what their application is to understand what their needs are. And in many cases, they may not even know what solution they need. They just know what their application is. So not having that close relationship, that intimacy with customers and understanding truly what their needs are can cause a lot of problems because you could have a misapplied product. Then you have capacity issues, you have runtime issues, and it turns something that should just be a solution for the customer into a pressing issue, that it's not fit for use for them. And now we have downtime issues and it just does not work. So in addition to choices that a customer can make in that good, better, best solution, there's a weighing of operating cost versus capital cost. So you could say, hey, I'm going to save a lot of capital cost on this because I'm going to use what we would consider to be an inferior product, but you're going to have warranty issues, you could have downtime issues, and in many cases you can have higher OpEx because of flow current issues or warranty costs and et cetera. So it's really important to fine tune that and understand what is your window, how long do you need this asset to last, and making sure that we can do it the right way and you have something that matches. The other, sustainability. So sustainability is huge because if you can operate at higher temperatures inside of a data center, you could use less water, you can use electricity for cooling. And when you look at some of our premium products, we have the options for lower flow current. So again, it's a really holistic approach to the solution and to the system, not just going in and buying the cheapest battery that you can put into that application. So the other thing that's critical for partnering and working with customers, and those customers could be anybody. They could be OEMs, they could be end users, they could just be the operators of those facilities. But it is, I can't say enough, understanding what their pain is and how we can help solve it. So I think we have that history. We've done data centers in mission critical facilities where you may go into the facility and they won't even tell you what data they're processing on that side of things. And you would look at this and say, wow, that's the oldest technology you can have. But it's based on 20-year technology, whether it be our DX or OPZ products that are there. They just know that because of the heritage that EnerSys has and because of the presence in the industry, that we're there for them. And then you can get into exotics, whether it be alternate chemistries with nickel or sodium or lithium. Just how do you size that in and make sure that you're truly making the right decision for that application? And then there's other applications that are, not as critical, or there's redundancies on them, and they may use a different, I won't say inferior, but a different product for those applications because it doesn't matter as much. So if a data center goes down in Dublin, they can shift that load over to someplace else in the US, for example. Or maybe they have a redundant backup right there on the site. So it really is important to understand what does that customer need and sell them what fits their solution and have someone there with them for being a partner over the duration of the life of that product. So as an example of partnering with customers, years ago, I was in the sales role. We went into a certain customer, sat down in front of them and did our normal quarterly business review, QBR. Went through, looked at all the metrics, on-time delivery, warranties, and et cetera, and it was generally good. And this is a customer that probably 3 years prior, it was pretty rocky. The whole relationship was in jeopardy on supply and quality, and just it wasn't good. And we had improved it so much with the quality of our products and upgrading our services and just really working with that customer. We ended in the boardrooms, and we went back, and we actually ended up in the engineering rooms in the cubicles. And the guys were pulling out their sandwiches and sitting around. And I said, hey, what else could we help you with? You have any new products or projects you're working on or anything we can do? And as the one older gentleman came out chewing on his peanut butter and jelly sandwich, he said, yeah, why don't you give me a sub 5-minute rate on a certain product? And it was just crazy. This product wasn't intended to run at sub 5 minutes. It was a 3-hour battery backup. And I said, well, why would you do that? And he explained that they had new generators that were coming on board and can start within microcycles. And he didn't need anything more than 3 minutes backup for this project. And I sat and I looked at this and I said, geez, we have a whole product line that does this, and it's called Odyssey. It's engine start. So we pulled out some papers and back of the napkin calculations and whatnot. And really, if I fast forward, it was the inception, the introduction of the XE product line. And that's what we did. We took one product that this customer was just happy for, thought he needed to do something differently when it was a completely different application for what he needed. And it's arguably one of the most successful product launches that we have. It's well respected in the industry. It does exactly what it needs. And when you compare it to that product that he was using, it's a completely different application. One of the things that I'm excited about and why I talked to the executive suite and said, yes, I want to get into this role is because the changes with the line of businesses and the center of excellences, I have the opportunity now to work with Mark Matthews' team and understand what is the right technology for this. So working with Mark to understand chemistry and technology and battery management systems and that whole system side of things, I can now work with Chris Craig's team and find out where do we source these things. The decision of a make versus buy, where can EnerSys add value to this and make sure that we're really doing the right thing for these customers. So that's a huge opportunity for us that is just really changed the landscape for us as we move forward in this product. Why am I proud to work for EnerSys? Why is Energize important for me? Why am I energized about this opportunity and to go forward? We have great people here. We've got subject matter experts who are ready to work. We've got a company and a C-suite that supports our people, but more importantly, our customers. That is just critical for us. It's customer first. And this fundamental shift, this refocus on what is important to them, allows it to be easy for us. We've got all the initiatives with Challenger Sale and making sure we're listening to the customers. But at the end of the day, it truly is understanding what the application is. How do we apply a product to this? And not even a product, come up with a system or a solution that solves their problem. So the financial strength, the backing, the management team, it's just a great place to work. I'm very excited for the future.